Good morning, everybody. Welcome to your Rangers Review morning briefing. It is Monday, the 28th of July. I'm Derek Clark, and I'm joined this morning by Stevie Clifford. How goes it, Stevie?
Good morning, mate. Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone is well this Monday morning.
Yeah, no problems here. Is it sunny still up where you are, Stevie? It's a bit overcast, a bit dreek this morning.
Dreek is the word I was going to use, Derek. Actually, it's clearly been raining, so it should make the dog walk fun. Going to get round to that this morning, so
yeah, mine's just still snoozing away. Monday morning blues and all that, but there you go. We're podcast sponsors, Willow's Fencing, the great guys at the Glasgow-based fencing company you can trust, and proud partners of the Rangers Review. They offer free consultations, and you also get 10% off if you use the code Rangers Review over on their website, willows-fencing.com. So if you need a new fence, these are the guys to call. And before we begin as well, a big shout out to a fan of the show, a Mr. Ian Howie. Ian, I know you'll be watching it this morning. We had your good friends Ian and Myra down visiting us this weekend, and they told me that you're an avid fan and viewer of the show. So, it was great to hear. So, big shout out to you, Ian, and good to have you tuning in to the Rangers Review. Right, where shall we start? We'll start with another transfer story, Stevie. A guy with a phenomenal name, Oliver Antman, Finnish international winger. Plays for the wonderful football team named Go Ahead Eagles over in the Netherlands. Reported by the Herald yesterday that Rangers have taken a firm interest in the right-sided attacker. He's someone that has been attracting the attention of Sheffield United, who have been heavily linked with a move for the 23-year-old. He's notched 15 assists in 32 matches in the Eredivisie last season. Signed from Nordsjælland, played alongside Mohamed Diamandi, and it's thought that they are looking for a fee in excess of £5 million for the winger. So, can't say I know an awful lot about this boy, Stevie. Good numbers, you've got to say. It's clear that Rangers are looking to still strengthen in the wide areas. Is this a player that potentially excites you?
Well, it's a player that's got really good numbers, isn't he? He's certainly been soaring at the Eagles this year, Derek. So I can't complain about it at all. 15 assists. Do you know, it's nice actually to be linked with somebody that has got such good numbers. Because 15 assists and 6 goals in 32. So 21 goal involvements in 32 is pretty impressive. Aside of that, Derek, don't know much about him at all. So he is one that this is what seems to be happening with Rangers. They seem to be moving really quickly when they are linked. So let's hope that's the case. We do need more wide players. Raksaki was one that the manager kind of spoke about last year. End of last week, that might go right to the end of the window. So I don't think this is one that really affects that in the slightest. So that's interesting. We'll be linked with the Tottenham youngster Mikey Moore as well. Yep. So there's obviously a lot of emphasis, Derek, on getting wide players in and getting that excitement. We do need it. So it would be nice to have a couple more options in there if they could get another 2 wingers in with Finlay Curtis and Oscar Cortez being there. Then they've got plenty of depth and options. Oliver Antman is a player that I don't know a lot about. As I said, watch the YouTube clips, same as everybody else probably did last night when that news came in. He's fond of a cutback. He likes to hit the byline, which is a bit different. So he's a player of interest, Derek. Absolutely. I think we just need to wait and see how this one unfolds. It is promising, a £5 million signing on that kind of quality would be promising. It would be something worthwhile for us. So I think it's certainly an interesting link, that's for sure. Especially that kind of money, spending that kind of money is decent. And you get him in the team, you get Gassama wide, you get Asgard in there, all of a sudden it starts to look a whole lot promising on the attacking front. So it's one to watch, that's for sure.
Yep. Apparently I've missed, I don't know if it's an Avengers reference, Stevie, from your good self. Ali says that Stevie Zinger, totally missed by Derek. Sharpen up, pal. I'm not an Avengers man, I've got to say, so apologies.
It wasn't an Avengers one, Derek. It was just a really cheesy dad joke, and I said he was scoring I said Antman was soaring at the Eagles this year, and it was like a big tumbleweed coming across the screen, that kind of silence. But I thought it was a good effort for a dad joke, but I
liked it.
I appreciate that, Ali. But yeah. Look, do you know what, Derek? I think the exciting thing for me is not so much about the player, and I can't sit here and pretend I'm an expert on him in the slightest because I'm not. The exciting thing is that Russell Martin is identifying the same positions that we have identified. Because how many times do we go through a pre-season and say, "Oh, we need this," and the manager goes, "Oh, no, we don't. We've got this," and it just doesn't work. Russell Martin, all the fans are talking about, we need excitement, we need width, we need that attacking threat, and he seems, from by all accounts, what we are doing in the transfer market currently is addressing that or trying to. So that's a real positive for me.
Yeah. An interesting point from Scott here. He says, it would be great to add another wide man, but surely we need a 20-plus a season goal scorer to get on the end of things. Yeah, that is something that Rangers have been over-reliant on in the past, certainly on Cyril Dessers. I think last season, if he never got the goals, well, Václav Černý certainly contributed, but in the main, it's something that Rangers really need to start contributing elsewhere other than the striker. But Dessers has shown that he can get 20-plus goals a season. So, yeah, an interesting. We'll touch on Danilo as well, who scored at the weekend again, and he was speaking afterwards about that game. It looks like you spoke with Chris yesterday, Stevie, on the talking point about who you expect to lead the line in Athens on Wednesday. And again, it looks like Danilo will be the man to do just that. But is this a valid point by Scott? Is it the striking department? Is that, of course, Hamza Egeman not featuring at the weekend due to a knock he picked up last week, but the question marks surrounding his future remain. Ditto Cyril Dessers. Danilo, there's been no such talk of moves away at this point. And of course, a number of strikers have been linked to the club over the course of the summer. But does Scott raise a valid point here? It's all right having it the wide men, but you need someone to finish your dinner, if you like.
No. And yes. What I think Scott really means is probably what the rest of us mean, is we need a new 20-plus goal scorer a season, because we have three guys there that are capable. I think Hamza Egeman got 16 odd last season. Would that be right? Cyril certainly got 20, 29 possibly. Yeah. So I think that was the kind of whereabout. Now, Danny has not been able to be fit and consistently be fit, but knows where the goal is. Has got 4 or 5 again in pre-season. So Scott's right from a point of view. Do we want somebody new up there because we're all a bit sick of the options we have? Yes, we do. But we want new players in every position. Do we need a 20-plus goal scorer, Derek? No, we probably don't, because we have 3 options up there. So that's where I think he is. And I think he's right, but I think he's wrong in the same way. And I think it's probably worded differently. In that, I think that if you ask him, would he like Turgeman or would he like a brand new shiny number 9 up there instead of some of the options, I think he would say yes. So I think that, and I think most of us probably would. So I think that's a kind of different question, because I think Cyril will score goals. He'll miss, he will, and Egeman will also score goals. He's proven that as well. If Hamza Egeman's going to stay at Rangers, I want him to be our number 9, Derek. I want him to get a run in that team. I want him to be first choice instead of being out wide and everything else. Let's see how he plays leading the line. And by the way, if Cyril can score that amount of goals in a team that doesn't create anything, and we were relying on him solely, wait until we've got wingers around him, wait until we've got an attacking threat, wait until we play this expansive way we do under Russell Martin, and then stick a number 9 in and judge him, because we will create a hell of a lot more chances and opportunities for him than we have in previous years when he's done relatively okay. So it's the number 9 situation is a bit of a kind of, not a boring discussion as such for me, but it's one that we've kind of talked to death. I think we're not going to change it unless somebody goes out the door. So until that happens, it's probably just a status quo.
Yeah. Chris is currently on his way to Athens, folks, but he is chasing up the Oliver Antman story. So as soon as we get any updates on that, we will bring you the latest with regards to that. You want to jump in there, Stevie?
I'm just laughing because I said it this morning on X. If he's on a plane, he can't rubbish anything, Derek. So let's hope it's a really long flight. So
Yeah.
Poor Chris, he gets pelters on the chat, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So it's quite funny. Whenever there's a name mentioned, everybody just goes, right, Chris, come on, get this rubbish so that we can all get on with our day.
Yeah, I do not envy him, put it that way. One player who has departed over the weekend, finally, Stevie, is Robin Proper. It became a bit of a saga in the end, but he has completed his move back to FC20. It's fair to say that we've discussed Robin at various points on shows. I think he's a decent player, just not suited to the Scottish game. Simple as that.
Yeah, summed up very nicely. I don't wish him any ill. Shake his hand, wish him all the best, and it's the best decision for everyone that he that he moves on. Derek, if you remember, we were talking about this away back in February and March. I said that he would go back to Holland this year. He never really looked comfortable.
Yeah.
He never really looked like he'd settled in the Scottish game or that he enjoyed that kind of side of it. So for me, it's a good move. There's another 8 to 10 that can join him, and we need that to happen with the size of the squad. I think everybody's seen the size of the squad, on the match day programme from Saturday. So there's a lot of work to do with players going out the door. That'll probably happen towards the end of the window, I should imagine. So the coming weeks we'll find out. But Robin Proper, yep, shake his hand. Thanks very much for your time here. If it's reportedly 1.5 million or thereabouts, then I'm really pleased at that as well. So all in all, Derek, best of luck to him and Rangers move on.
There has been another departure, of course, widely expected. We reported last week, and that is Mason Munn has joined Dunfermline on a season-long loan. I think that's a good move for him. Stevie, I'm not sure if we spoke about him last week, but I think that is good for him to go and get games. He's highly thought of at Ibrox, considered it a prospective future number one. So if he can go and have a good loan spell, that'll do him the world of good coming back next summer.
Yeah, and it was good enough for Alan McGregor to go down to Dunfermline, who are a good club. Very big fan base, expected fan base for that level. Good stadium. So yeah, no issues with Mason Munn going down there at all. I spoke about him a wee bit, Derek. I've seen him quite a few times last year. Excellent shot stopper. Really good, but he needs to work on his concentration. I've seen him get lobbed at Stenhousemuir from inside the own half because he'd lost his concentration on it. And a couple of things had happened during games I'd seen him where you think he's a smashing young keeper, but he needs to just learn that kind of concentration levels and also learn to be a first team goalkeeper somewhere. So it's a fantastic move for him and one that he'll be pushed on. So if he can go down there and play regular games, then I'm quite happy with that. I'm really quite happy with that. Yeah. So a good move for him. He's a good lad, by the way. He's absolutely massive. Most people are, but he's a tall boy and he'll do well down there.
Yep, good luck to Mason. Now, we'll bring up a squad chart shortly, give us an idea of how the Rangers squad is now looking following those departures anyway and the players that are out of favour. So we'll bring that up in a little more. But before we do that, we'll discuss Saturday's pre-season, well, the end of pre-season, if you like, 2-2 draw against Middlesbrough. Rangers going with, as they normally do, going 2 goals behind before responding and scoring to themselves. Goals from Danilo and Finlay Curtis. Middlesbrough, incidentally, brought about 8,000 up to Ibrox. They all had a rare old time. I'm jealous that there was not I've said this before, an away day for Rangers this season, pre-season wise, because it's always a good day out. But there you go. But yeah, they certainly enjoyed themselves and a good old workout. But Russell Martin not too pleased by the start of his team and bizarrely sent to the stand by John Beaton at half time. Totally ridiculous as Steve H shakes his head. Now, I've got a clip of Russell. Now, I've upped the volume on this. I know that many of you say that sometimes the clips are a tad low. So fingers crossed this it comes out loud and clear. But this is what Russell had to say after the game.
Energy or the body language of too many on the pitch in the first 20-25 minutes. They got through that and got better, a bit more intensity, which helped us. So I will give them big credit for coming through that and getting through that. And then I think we should have had a penalty. We should have had a fourth official who can definitely help the officials. And then I'm a passionate guy, and I probably overstepped the mark. And then I enjoyed watching the game in the stand the second half. But it was a good view. It was a good view for me actually. So in friendlies I might do that. I hope not to spend too long up there. But no, seriously, I went and apologised to the official, and I need to get used to how it works up here compared to down the road as well. But yeah, I've apologised, and hopefully we can all move on. And I got a good view of the game, and he got peace and quiet.
I need to get used to how things operate up there, Stevie. A little dig, if you like, by Russell Martin to the officiating is ridiculous in a pre-season friendly. He's been sent to the gantry, if you like. What do you make of that? And his point there, he did not like the sort of application and the energy. It came from the warm-up he was speaking about as well, from some of the players that he wasn't too happy about.
Well, you know, I don't want to speculate on who it might be, because that becomes problematic then, doesn't it? But
yeah,
I think for Rangers on Saturday, there was a lot of lessons learned, because the team that they put out, some of the youngsters are not ready for our level of competitive football that we're going to need them. They would probably further strengthen my opinion that Bailey Rice needs to go out on loan, which I do think will happen. It was interesting that Bailey was named in the B team in the Euro games instead of being amongst the first team, which I do think will lead to him going out on loan probably towards the end of the window. The first team guys who played, with the exception probably of Gassama and Fernandes, who were in there for minutes, Derek. The rest of them, look, calling a spade are squad players at best, and I don't think they would have done themselves any favours. And the uplift, by the way, on 60 minutes when the first team came on was stark. So Nico Raskin, who I thought came on and was really, really good, really positive. Danny came on, obviously, and was really positive. So there was a lot of work there, Derek. A lot of things to do. And when the first team came on, and they done it really well. So more than happy with that in terms of the first team. But you know, Russell Martin would have learned a lot from it. I was surprised there was so much negativity surrounding, you know, the defence and things like that. Our defence on Saturday started, it was Jeffy, Fernandes and young Xander Hunt. So it was never ever going to be perfect, was it? The midfield was Barron and Bayrami. So people need to have a wee bit of a kind of understanding of where we are. And what we're trying to achieve here. This squad was never good enough. The issue we had last season was our squad players were first team players, and they weren't good enough to be squad players best of the time. And that's where we are with it. So Russell Martin's always going to have a hell of a job this summer. There's still work to be done. There's still work ongoing. There's a lot of work to be done out the door. So a game like Middlesbrough was good for some, but it would also have been negative from the point of view the manager's been able to see that, and he would form opinions as well. We need to get in a position where we're starting games better, and we're not getting ourselves in those positions. But it's really difficult when it is the semblance, Derek, of what is a reserve team. So, you know, the players that came on in the second half done themselves proud, done themselves well, got a couple of goals, could have probably snatched it at points. On the officiating, Derek, it has to be said, atrocious. Both officials on the line missed 2 offside goals. Middlesbrough scored in the first half, which was absolutely fine. Their second goal, reminiscent to the Julian goal in the League Cup final, it was awful line-wise. They're all offside. And then the number 6, when it comes back across, who puts it in, he's offside also. And then the penalty was clear as day. Now, it's only a friendly, and we're not moaning about...
We're going to have that this season, Stevie.
My point...
expect that this season.
My point is, though, Derek, that people will go, oh, it's only a friendly, nobody cares, and largely they're correct. But that level of incompetence, Derek, is widespread through officiating in Scottish football. The standard is absolutely woeful, and already 3 big moments in a game that they can't get any of them right. The penalty was atrocious. The whole stadium in unison said handball.
Yeah.
Like it was one of those clear as day ones, and John Beaton was looking straight at it, perfectly positioned, and still managed to miss it. So even me, Derek, in my heyday, would have caught that as a penalty kick. So, really frustrating, really disappointing. The offside one's even worse. From an official point of view, you're looking right along that line when he hits it, and it's not even close. It's very, very clear. And I think officials have got lazy now when VAR's there, because if they're unsure in the slightest, they just leave it and let VAR make the decision. And we've seen it at Easter Road when that decision should have been made. They were happy to adjudicate responsibility elsewhere, and it is a frustrating one for me. The officials on Saturday were extremely poor. It doesn't take anything away from the game as a spectacle, and Middlesbrough were great coming up, and they certainly looked hungry. And Rangers, reserves as such, or bounce games, as Russell Martin said, it was a training game. Then it was interesting. He said something that interested me, Derek, in the post match. He said about when the good players came on, and I think that's quite clear in what he meant and how he feels about the difference between the first team and the squad players. That's for sure.
Yeah. What do you make of Oscar Cortez at right back, Stevie? Can you get on that experiment? Is that something you'd like to see more? He never really took his chance. Got an opportunity on Saturday, and again, never exactly grasped it, albeit he was playing at right back for a period.
Yeah, he wasn't. No, Derek. It was three at the back. We were kind of fluent. He played right, probably wing back, and going forward on the right wing. I thought Oscar Cortez done fine. No end product is the biggest issue. The manager said it himself, but his work rate, his desire to run and move, as the manager quoted, was very good. He just didn't have anything. Just nothing there for him. And that's a lot to do with the fact that there was absolutely nothing up top on Saturday. It took Cyril 35 odd minutes to get a proper touch of the ball. And that's frustrating as well. And Danny during midweek was also the same. So it gives you an issue of we perhaps got a problem with how we get our nines into games and trying to get better players around them. It'll come. So it's a wee bit of patience needed there. But Oscar, I thought, was fine. No end product, the biggest thing. But he done well. Application was there. So I thought we were more 3-4-3, if I'm honest, because Gentles was wider right forward as well, and there was a lot more going on. But I think Derek, overall, he did fine. Nothing outstanding. He did okay. Application good. But there's a serious uplift on him when the first team came on. So whether or not he would have been done better with them players around him, we would need to wait and find out. But all in all, as I said, as you look at Saturday as a whole, Martin would have learned a lot, probably reconfirmed some ideas. I'm quite happy with that. That's what friendlies are for.
Exactly. Experimentation. Yep. Let's bring up this because Chris has got a piece on the website just assessing where the squad is at then at this point in time. And this is how it looks. So the goalkeeper situation there, Wright Kelly and Butland. The guys in red are out of favour. So on the right-hand side, Xander Hutton's there, but I'd imagine he's another one you'd think that probably best if he is shipped out on loan somewhere to get experience elsewhere. But you've got Tav and Dujon Sterling there, Max Aarons he's got over on the left-hand side. The guys that have been brought in are in yellow. In the centre-half position, Giga, Fernandez, Suter on the left, Shefty. Ridvan is still there at the moment. Aarons, midfield, Rothwell, Barron, Rice, as we touched on there. I think a loan would be beneficial for him, perhaps. Raskin, Asgard, and Cameron, Diamande, Bayrami in there as well. And then in the forward areas, Cortez, Curtis, Gassama, Dowell, McCausland, who was said to be closing in on a move to Cyprus to team up with the old gang, Goldson and Balogun and Aris Limassol. So I expect him to be moved on somewhere at least this summer. And there's the forward line there. So you mentioned Josh Gentles, so certainly he's seen a lot of first-team action during the pre-season schedule. So Dessers, Egeman, Danilo and Gentles. I very much expect that to look a very different squad as we near the end of the window. And you touched on, certainly in the winger situation, Stevie, we mentioned Antman. You mentioned Mikey Moore as well, on loan from Tottenham. Rangers said to be keen on his signature. So, it looks like moves are afoot to freshen that up freshen up the squad even more. But just looking at that, what's glaring out at you?
That Ridvan and McCausland probably need to be in red as well.
Yeah.
With regard to them moving on, and you could lose any of the ones in red and you wouldn't have an issue there in the slightest. There's probably another couple who you could add to it. Could you add Bayrami to it? Is he one of the ones? Could you add Dessers to it? Not as out of favour, but ones that might move on if they're not getting first team football. I think these are possibilities. As I said, Derek, and I long have said this, you could lose 10 tomorrow and not miss it. And that's the state of play. There's 6 currently in red.
Yeah.
Add Ridvan and McCausland to that. Add Dessers, Bayrami as ones that might go. You're at 10 already. Would you really miss any of them? It's arguable. It's arguable. So there's a lot of work, Derek. A lot of work to be done in the squad with regard to who goes out, and we have to get those players out to create space to bring in the ones that we want. You know, if we want Antman and we want Moore and we want, you know, maybe a forward like Turjaman if he's still on the radar, or if he ever was, whatever's happening there. If you want another centre back, you have to get these guys out the door as well. So there's a lot of work to be done. I actually asked the manager about it. I asked him about Robin Proper on Saturday, and then I asked him, is anybody else close to a move out the door? And I specifically mentioned Ridvan, Ben Davies, and I think Ross McCausland was the other one that I mentioned. He didn't deny any of them, and he said there's interest in a lot of our players. It's just the next step, as in waiting for them to bid. And I know that was the situation with Robin Proper as well. So got to hope that with that interest, it turns into kind of formal moves, and we start to move these boys out the door. Because no disrespect to him, Leon King, Ross McCausland, Robbie Fraser, etc., they need to go out and play football. We need to let them go out and play football as well. And then you've got the likes of Inciala, Ben Davies, Matondo, Cifuentes, Ridvan. They're not going to feature here. They've not got a future at the football club. And arguably, you know, there's a couple of others that won't get the first team players games rather that they need as well. So there's a lot to be done. And I'm looking forward to these guys for their own good going out the door as well.
Yep. As Russell Martin has said a number of times now, he expects the squad to look vastly different in the weeks to come. So certainly I expect that as well. You mentioned, definitely Ridvan, of course, heavily linked with a move back to his former club in Besiktas as well. Dillo's an interesting one. He's clearly impressing in training, but he's not impressing the fan base in match days. So I can certainly see him moving on. Did you see him moving on, Stevie? Do you think he's got a part to play? Because it's an intriguing one, because the manager certainly rates him.
It depends on what way you look at it. Is he playing at the moment because he doesn't trust anybody else in that position? That's the arguable thing. And if we get Antman in, if you get Mikey Moore in, if you stick Cortez and Curtis in that, and Gassama, there's no room for Kieran Dowell.
Yeah.
So where does Kieran Dowell go? Because he's not going to get a game in midfield. You know, Raskin, Asgard, Cameron, Diamande, with Rothwell and Barron, it's all fairly tight. He's not going to get in there. So there's a lot of work to be done surrounding. And if this is right, Derek, and if we're linked with Raksaki, Moore, you're linked with Antman. Say you got 2 or 3 out of there, like Kieran Dowell's position in the squad becomes nil and void. And I think that when you go towards the end of the window, it probably goes towards what Russell Martin was saying about this squad being vastly different towards the end of the window. The team that started against Panathinaikos, etc., vastly different. Dowell might be one that towards the end of the window moves on. He's only got a year left. I don't see us extending that in any way. He's on far too much money for what he gives the club as well. So I think Kieran Dowell might just be a, square peg round hole at this moment in time, while we get the squad up to speed of where we need it to be. So a wee bit of patience maybe required around Kieran Dowell and some others as we go towards the end of the window. But I've got no doubt they will be moving on. Russell Martin will say all the right things in the press and surrounding Russell Martin and surrounding Kieran Dowell, but I don't think for any minute he believes that he's the answer to our wide right problems. The way that we play under him, it's not feasible, Derek, that we have Kieran Dowell out there the way that Russell Martin plays.
Yep, agreed with that. So that leads us on then to Wednesday night. As I touched on, Chris is flying out to Athens just now. The Rangers press conference, incidentally, folks, tomorrow, scheduled for around 7:45 at local time. So that is dependent, of course, on Rangers getting over there in time and things like that. Often with these European games, things overrun slightly. But confident heading into that game, Stevie. I don't think we've been on since that first leg, 2-0 win. I don't think you could have asked for anything more result-wise, but perhaps maybe putting the the foot on the pedal when Panathinaikos went down to 10, but taking it a 2-goal lead over there, I think you certainly be happy with that. Can they see the job out, do you reckon?
Yeah, they definitely can, but there's no room for any complacency. There's certainly not room for any of the defending and being as loose on the ball as they were last week, because if they do that again and give up those chances, you're most likely going to get hurt by it, Derek. So we need to be extremely careful. We need to use our brains and just be smart with it. Yeah, if you go out and kill off the tie and score first, you should be fine.
Yeah.
But 2-0 is difficult, because if they score, they're right back in it, and we need to be careful. It's not job done.
No.
But we've certainly done a good thing result-wise last week. We can take a lot of confidence into that, and we go from there. But it's not over, Derek. We'll need to put in a shift, especially in that weather. It's going to be hot. They won't quite have the same atmosphere, but we don't want to give them any encouragement either. So I think they'll come at us, which is interesting, because the boy that Vagianidis, the boy that got sent off, the right back, easy for me to say, he was one of their most promising players. So I think they've lost something in him. The big boy up front, Ioannidis, is a handful, and we know that. But I thought John Souttar defended excellently last week. On the ball, I thought he was questionable at best when he was actually in possession. But defensively, I thought as a siege defender, he was magnificent, really. I thought he had a really good game. But, we can't be afford to be as slack. That one where Giga got robbed and the boy, I think it was Ioannidis, went through just after we'd scored. We can't make those mistakes. And they'll know as well about taking chances. And so there's a lot to play for. It's a job half done. And we just need to go and see it through. They can certainly do it, though, Derek. 2-0 is a very comfortable scoreline. I would back us to score, even if we do go our customary 2-0 down to before we go and do it. But I would back Rangers to get one on Wednesday night. So it's about killing off the tie and go and do that properly, which it's important they do for various reasons. But if they manage to do that, they've got a fighting chance in the next round. And that could lead us to the playoff and see what happens then. So there's a lot of football to be played. We concentrate on Wednesday night, but the players and team certainly done a good job result-wise last week. They just need to tighten up on some things and then go from there. But I also think the wee cameo on Saturday for a lot of them, that last half an hour would do them a lot of good as well. A wee bit of encouragement. Go on, score a couple of goals without reply when it's like that. I think they've done just fine.
Yeah, and hopefully Rangers will have Egeman and Asgard available. Russell Martin was asked about both in that press conference. He said we could have rushed him back to try and be involved, but I think our eyes are on Wednesday right now. And so with Tello, he's recovering really well. He's again athletically really, really good, but we'll just have to wait and see. So be one to keep an eye on, that's for sure. And we should learn more tomorrow when that press conference is carried out. Right, that'll do us there, folks. Thank you to Stevie and to each and every one of you for tuning into the show as ever. Those of you that are Rangers Review Extra members on YouTube, we'll record our weekly Q&A show this afternoon. 1 p.m, I'll pop the link out on the community page a little later on this morning. Get your questions in and we'll get through as many as we possibly can. Right, if we don't speak to you, then enjoy your Monday and we'll chat again soon. Bye for now.